Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly training on education. My name is Dr. And I am the founder of Classroom Without Walls. And starting 3 weeks ago, I have been doing a weekly live training on education because everyone is homeschooling right now, and parents have been approaching me with so many questions, and I'm also homeschooling my own children with lots of success. So I really want to come here to share with you my tips and my strategies and what works really well as my home with my own children, and what has been working as my own school, Classroom Without Walls. So this is the third training, and the first week I discussed the danger of an exam-based education. I discussed 5 major consequences as a result of focusing only on academic performance when it comes to learning. So last week I discussed social media and the truth about your children's social media addiction. So today's training is the second part of my training on social media. And we are going to really be very practical today and to discuss how, and this can be applied to big people as well, right? If you are interested in learning more about social media, and this is what I also tell my clients to do. And I also use this, everything that I'm about to share with you, I also share this with my own students at Classroom Without Walls, and also with my own children, to really show you how we can transform our relationship with social media from being purely disruptive and destructive to constructive, and to a career building and a personal development tool. So really, I have 5 specific ways to share with you. I believe each one of them can really help you and to help your own children. And even if you are not an educator, and what I'm about to share with you is highly practical and can be applied. And as I mentioned earlier, my own children and students at Classroom Without Walls are using those tips with great success. And I'm live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Periscope, on YouTube, on Twitch. So if you are live with me right now, please let me know where you are joining me live from, social media wise and geographically speaking. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to do my best to answer. It's going to be challenging for me to answer your questions as I do the training, but I will definitely make some time for Q&A at the end. So I'm just going to do a quick check to see if I'm actually live on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn sometimes always give me a hard time. So okay, I don't see a notification, and as I'm checking on this, and let me know in the comment section, are you struggling with the social media, especially if you have children, and if your children are struggling with social media? The reason I ask this is because many parents come to me and they are really struggling with social media. So either they use social media, whatever technology, digital devices that they use to be a babysitter, or they completely ban social media. And I don't think that is the right solution. So you need a happy medium. Hold on. Why am I? Hold on. I'm going to check to see if I'm actually live on LinkedIn. Just so give me a second. I'm really having hard time going live on LinkedIn. And Let me check to see if I'm actually live on LinkedIn. Sorry. Yeah, I'm live on LinkedIn. Finally, I think I'm live on all the places. So let me restate. Hello, live now. Finally, I'm live. Hello, everyone. Yes, so my name is I'm the founder of Classroom Without Walls. I don't want to repeat everything that I mentioned earlier. Just want to do a quick recap. And so I have been doing a series of live training on education. Last week, I discussed the real danger of an exam-based education. So last week, I discussed the truth about your children's social media addiction. And if you missed any of the live training from the last 2 weeks, so please, in the comment section, write down replay. And after I finish today's training, I will make sure to send you a replay link so that you can catch up. Last 2 weeks, parents loved it. And today we are discussing how we can use social media as a way to build our career, to develop who we are as a person. And oftentimes, social media has this stigma, and everyone, especially parents and educators, they tend to think social media is the root of all evil. And I'm here to tell you, no, that is not the case. Social media is like everything else in life. The good, the bad, the ugly. Social media itself will not, break a person, but how you are using social media will make a huge difference. In today's training, I will share with you 5 practical ways that you can apply at home and at the same time using social media to build your professional network, to develop important life skills. This is especially relevant if you have children, middle school age, high school age, and college age-ish. And this is something that I have been using with my own students at Classroom Without Walls, and as a mom who homeschools 2 young children. And for those of you who don't know me, I just want to add some credibility to everything that I'm about to share with you. I taught in the classroom for 10 plus years, and I spent almost 2 decades in higher education. And before I resigned to build Classroom Without Walls, and I got my master from Syracuse, and I got my PhD from the University of Maryland. And I also have a workbook to accompany today's training. And oh, we have someone from the Philippines. Oh, thank you. And I have a workbook to accompany this training. And so if you want a copy of my workbook, also, as always, I'll leave workbook in the comment section, and I'm going to send you a copy of my workbook. Okay, so are you excited? Let's get started. I am super excited. This is something that I'm really passionate about. And as I mentioned earlier, before I forget, and so this is, I have been going live on a weekly basis. So next Tuesday, make sure you mark your calendar, and I will be discussing the biggest challenge facing today's students. Okay. And as always, if you want a copy of my workbook, leave workbook in the chat box. Okay, so let's get started with our training on social media. Before I dive into the specific 5 ways that you can use the social media at home to help your children develop their career readiness and develop who they are as a human being. So I want to quickly mention the model that we use at Classroom Without Walls, and I will also explain to you why I need to explain this model. So this is an iceberg, okay? So the tip of the iceberg is school-based learning, right? And especially first week, we discussed actually how GPA is inversely related to innovation. So in other words, if you want your children to be innovative, to be critical and creative, and GPA in the United States, grade point average. So in other words, academic performance is not a good benchmark for you to use if you want your children to be innovative. Okay, so that's the reason I created this iceberg model, is to really show parents. Most parents come to me, they think that academic performance, there how many A's, how many B's, and they think academic performance is the only thing that their children need to be future ready. So I'm here to tell you that is wrong. Okay, so remember this model. Academic performance is only the tip of the iceberg to help your children become future ready. And when I talk about children, I'm generally referring to middle school students, high school students, college age-ish students, and emerging professionals. Okay, so at my school, we discuss everything underneath the iceberg. Okay. One aspect we discuss is new media. You probably can't see clearly. So new media knowledge, which is what I'm going to share today. Social media, storytelling, story selling. Are your children able to do what I'm doing right now? Give me a camera, give me a smartphone or a computer, and give me a Wi-Fi connection. I can show up. I can actually teach my audience something regarding what I know. That is pretty much today's freelancing economy, gig economy, right? So new media, and another component that we cover at my school is life skill. Last but not least is mindset. Okay, so I'm going to use social media as an example. I'm going to give you a few assignment project-based learning. That's my favorite. So I'm going to give you a few project ideas that you can apply at home, even if you are not an educator, that you can really help your children cover new media, life skills, and mindset to grow who they are as a holistic human being to become future ready. So if you love this training, and so far, feel free to share. Give me some hearts, give me some likes, and tag a friend who can really benefit from this. Who can really benefit from this training? Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so the first way that you can use social media as a way to build your career is digital networking. Almost all of us, hi, thank you for joining us. So almost all of us, right, professionals, students, we know the importance of networking, right? We go to an event, we go to a conference, we exchange our business card, and we network. But now in today's digital economy, especially now with COVID, so many things are happening online. Are you good at digital networking? This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I feel like this is not being discussed in the traditional school learning environment. So many students wait, especially college age students, they wait until they have that degree and then they practice networking. That is way too late. I think the best time to start networking is now. My 8 years old has been doing digital networking to building a platform. Okay, so there are a few ways that you can practice digital networking, and I'm going to share 3 ways. Okay, so hey, James, great to see you. So the first way that you can practice digital networking is actually hashtag search, okay? And you can let me know in the comment section what are some of the some things that either you are passionate about or your children are passionate about. So I'm just going to use education as an example. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share with you how you can help your children, high school, middle age, college age, young professional, to practice digital networking by doing hashtag search. Okay, my top secret. And so let me share my screen. Okay, so here on LinkedIn, it doesn't matter on LinkedIn or any other platform that you use. I'm also going to use Instagram as an example. I'm also going to use YouTube as an example. Okay, so hashtag search. Let's say that I'm really into education and eventually I want to become a teacher. Okay, so you can do a hashtag search teacher, and here you can follow this hashtag. Okay, this is me talking about, of course, I'm talking about teaching. So you can search based on people. You can also search based on content. Okay, so let's do a search based on people. So here are all the people who are either a teacher or talking about teaching. So this is a great way for your children to get started, right? Like, so for example, Dr. Michael Grossman, and he is a teacher. Wow. Right. And also in Philadelphia. I'm also in Philadelphia, assuming that I'm an emerging professional and I want to learn more about becoming a teacher. I will send a personalized connection request. Hey, doctor, I'm a student. I want to become a teacher. I would love to be connected with you on LinkedIn. Right. So this is the power of hashtag search. And going back here, you can also search based on people. You can also search based on content, right? So here are, of course, I show up. It was a great interview I did last week. So here are the people talking about teaching, talking about being a teacher. So you can examine their content, join the conversation. Like, for example, this lady, whatever she's talking about, clearly people are really passionate about this. Lots of views, lots of comments. So join the conversation, be a part of the conversation, contributing to their content. And then you are also networking. Okay. So this is tip number one. And the second tip to practice digital networking. Oh, okay. You can do the same on Instagram. Okay. So Minecraft. Let's say that your children are really into Minecraft. Okay, so here are the people who are talking about Minecraft, who are Minecraft developers, and Instagram. Already so many children are on Instagram, so they can just be on Instagram, and now they have some good intention. I'm here on Instagram to connect with other people who are really into Minecraft, right? So maybe we can do something together, we can play a game together, we can collaborate. So here is another example. On YouTube, you can do the same thing, okay? So on YouTube, for example, I'm really into fashion. And my dream is to become, and that's my YouTube channel, by the way, feel free to subscribe, Classroom Without Walls. So what you can do is on YouTube, here is filter. Many people don't even know this. So you can filter based on video, based on channel, based on playlist, and lots of different options. So I want to connect with a channel that talks about fashion. So click on channel. So here are all the channels that talk about fashion, right? So for example, I want to be a fashion designer and I'm a woman. I would love to connect with this lady. And looks like her channel is doing pretty good, right? 21,000 subscribers. And I will follow her content, check out her content, and reach out to her and build, practicing digital networking. So those are some really simple ways for you and your children to practice digital networking by doing a hashtag search. Do you like this? Give me a thumbs up. And so besides hashtag search, another way is So our children, everybody, I'm a lifelong learner and I love reading books. I read books nowadays. I read books. I listen to books all the time, right? So again, the question is how you can use the social media to make this a learning and a career building tool. So I'm going to share with you. My favorite graphic design tool for non-graphic designers is Canva, Canva. I use Canva all the time, okay? So what you can do is, let's say that you or your children, you finish reading a book, and I finish reading that book, and there are a few statements, a few quotes in the book that just, resonated with me so much. So what you can do is that you can easily use Canva to create a quote image, and you can post that image on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. And as you are posting that, you want to add the author. Okay? And this is super, super powerful, especially if you are like a college age student, a high school or a middle school student. If I were an author, if a middle school kid tagged me regarding my book, I would be like, oh my God, thank you so much, right? And so do that, right? For those of you, let me do another quick screen share. And so here's Canva. Like it's literally my favorite tool. And so you can use if you want to go fancy, you can use like design this as a magazine cover. I'm just randomly selecting one. Okay. So for example, I recently read this book by Esther Wojcicki, and who is the mom of the CEO of YouTube. I loved reading her book. So I can replace this picture with a different picture. Oh my God. I don't, okay. So let me just use Guy Kawasaki. Okay. I also recently interviewed him. And then I can create this, and then I can add this, and I can easily add a quote. Okay. And so I'm just giving you some examples. So here, I don't remember what Guy Kawasaki said on my show, but he did mention experience is greater than degree. Wow, that is a great statement, right? So you do this, right? I just make this really, really simple, and your children can do this. My son has been using Canva since he was 6 years old. Okay, so whatever books that your children are reading or you are reading, create a like quote image, whatever reflection that you gain as a result of reading the book. So after you create this, you can add a few more pages, you can download this, and you can post this on Twitter, on different social media channels, and make sure you add the author. So that is another way to practice digital networking. And I think I need to hurry up a little bit. I'm going in too much details. So last but not least is to do a book review. Okay, after you finish reading the entire book, why don't you go to Amazon and to write a book review? And after you do the book review, share your book review on different social media channels, and make sure you add or tag the author. Okay, so using social media as a career building tool, the first tip that we discussed is digital networking, and I shared 3 ways that you can use social media to practice digital networking. If you love those 3 ways, give me a thumbs up. And second is to launch a podcast. And for those of you who are not familiar with my line of work, and I used to teach in the classroom, and the starting point for what triggered me to quit my job, start my own school, is actually because of social media. So 3 years ago, I launched my very first live streaming podcast. And it's a weekly live streaming show on Facebook. And I interview leading social media digital marketers to come to my show so that my students can actually, through me, to network with all those leading experts and industry professionals. I was teaching social media classes. And so launch a podcast is a great way. Remember I shared my Oh, hey, Lori is here. Thank you so much, Lori. So great to see you. So remember I shared my iceberg model. Okay, let me remove my logo so you can. Okay. So remember I discussed my iceberg model, right? New media knowledge, life skills, and mindset. When you are launching a podcast for your children or even for professionals, like whoever is watching this right now, I can't tell you how much my interpersonal communication skills and my interview skills, my listening skills, my research skills, my collaboration skills, how much those skills have improved as a result of launching my podcast. Okay. And at Classroom Without Walls, we believe the best education happens outside the classroom. So don't feel like your children have to do all the school-based homework. In fact, all the ideas I share with you so far are great ways for your children to practice digital networking, to practice, to develop important lifelong skills. Hi, Lori. Hi, Rick. Oh my God, Rick, so great to see you. I need to send you a message. We need to have a chat. Okay. So launching a podcast, okay? And many people feel like, oh my God, this is so daunting. I don't know how to get started. Reach out to me. And or you can easily do a Google search. There are so many articles teaching you how to launch a podcast. And my favorite way to do this is actually, is to actually do what I do, a live streaming podcast. Why? Because your children are actually practicing talking to the camera. I'm telling you this, talking to the camera is a very important life skill that many children don't really get to practice. I mentioned this last week that we call the next generation digital natives, but they don't really know how to use social media as a way to build their career. They are only familiar with using social media to be entertained, to socialize. Everything that I'm sharing right now, they have no idea how to do it. So definitely, if you challenge them to launch a live streaming podcast, really powerful. Students at my school, Classroom Without Walls, each of them is launching a live streaming podcast. And they are reaching out to people to be on their show to, and overcome their own fear of talking to strangers and also learn how to talk to strangers and so many other important life skills that I can go on and on. Let me send a quick message. Thank you for being here, everyone. I love you guys. Love you all. And this is what I teach. So if you are interested in having your children work with me, and I'm starting my next cohort, Life Accelerator program, right after Labor Day on September 14th. And each student in my program, they are launching a live streaming podcast. I coach them to do this. It's a great way to develop important life skills, okay? And not to mention, they're also networking, developing a network, and they're also gaining clarity on a potential career that they want to pursue, right? So for example, if they are really into fashion, and they can interview all the fashion designers that are learning more about the industry that they want to pursue before they spend years and so much money to declare a major. They are actually gaining important insights. Okay, so that's the second way to use social media as a way to build careers. And number 3 is number 3 is collaborative storytelling. Okay, so last week I mentioned important 21st century skills, including the 4C. The 4 C's include communication, collaboration, creativity, Lori, creativity, and critical thinking. Okay, those 4 C's are very important. Okay, so I want to make sure that my children are learning how they can collaborate with people in person and also in a remote working environment. And there are so many ways that you can practice collaborative storytelling. My personal is Adobe Spark. I'm an Adobe education leader. I work with Adobe Education. I love Adobe. I love Adobe Education. And I love many of their tools. So Adobe Spark is actually free. Oh, hey, Jeremy. Thank you so much. And Adobe Spark is actually free. So I'm going to do a quick screen share. And so many of my friends are here. I'm so excited. So share my screen. And if you have questions, feel free to ask any questions. Okay, so Adobe Spark, where are you? And again, my own students at Classroom Without Walls, they use Adobe Spark to do their reflection, and even my own children, they have been using Adobe Spark. Actually, my son, my 8 years old right now, is doing a book reflection by using Adobe Spark. So for those of you like, Adobe Spark, you enter the link Adobe Spark. You can actually use Adobe Spark to create Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Facebook, slides, presentations, so much more. So what I love about Adobe Spark is here to create a web page. So going back to, book reflection, for example, okay? Or like my son, he actually has been playing like summer trip, okay, a road trip bus. Or how about this? My favorite vacation, okay? And so you can, with Adobe Spark, you can select different themes. You can make this, you can make it this, you can make it this. It's really easy. You can easily use this to create a website for yourself. And so this is not the main reason that I love Adobe Spark. So here, I don't know if you can see, here is like a human icon. So once you click on the human icon, and you can invite another person to be a part of this. And so if your children, my older son is 9 years old. So if anyone in the live audience watching this show right now is interested in practicing collaborative storytelling with my own children, please leave me a comment. I will reach out to you. So your children and my children, they can work on this together. It's like a Google Doc, right? So you enter this person's email, you invite this person. So 2 people or few people can actually work on the same story together, right? One person can be writing the introduction. They can both or collaborate on the introduction. They can create their own images. They can add pictures. There are stock pictures like mountain. Oh my God, it's this, yeah, right? You can easily add a picture. This is my favorite mountain that I visited. I just love it. You can and then as a team, they can co-present this, right? And if they have a podcast after, can you imagine you have your own children and other children from different countries to work on this together, to talk about their favorite vacation. To me, that is the true power of social media and technology. Unfortunately, I think many schools right now, they are doing online learning. They are only using technology as a way to deliver content, as opposed to using technology to humanize the learning experience, to build a global learning community. That's why I love social media so much. So they can create this, and after they create this, they can share on different social media channels. So that is, I will send it to you, Rick. So that is, oh, I'm so happy that everyone, are you guys enjoying this training? So that's a really great way, like really Adobe Spark, practice collaborative storytelling. And then if you do that, you will stop complaining. Social media is so bad for my children. I got so tired of listening to parents and educators complaining about social media, because that is not how we are using social media in this house or at my own school. And we really use it as a way to practice career building and personal development. Okay, so write collaborative stories, inviting children from different countries join you on that journey. And number 4, I'm going to wrap this up in 10 minutes. Number 4 is to create vision board. Okay, I want to go back to the model, iceberg model that I use at Classroom Without Walls to future-proof the next generation. This model is developed based on my 20 plus years experience of working with almost 3,000 students, and based on a solid body of research. It's probably hard for you to read this. We talk about new media, life skill, and the mindset. So under mindset, I really work with my students to understand who they are. What do you want to do in life? Many students join my program, again, regardless of age, and even college age grads, and they join the program, they have no idea what they want to do in life. They feel very lost. And because I don't blame the children, right? Why? For so many years, when they go to school, their learning, their curriculum is designed by other people without the involvement from our children. So they are learning a standardized curriculum. But when you think about, most children are not standardized. Every kid is very unique, right? So under mindset, I really work with the students to get to know who they are. We also talk about vision board, positive affirmation. And going back to social media, and going back to my favorite graphic design or learning tool, Canva. So I ask my own children and my students to actually use Canva to design a vision board. Hear me or see me? We just lost power. So I'm using every week when I go live on Tuesday, I lose power. This is so strange. Can you still hear me? Can you see me or hear me? I think I'm still live. Can someone please give me some feedback? We have quite a few people here. I think I'm still live. So okay, so really go within and talking about vision board. Can you hear me? Hey Tiffany, thank you so much. Can you all hear me now? Looks like I'm not muted. I was muted earlier, but looks like thank you Jeremy and Tiffany for the feedback. It looks good on my end right now. Can you do you mind let me know again? Can you see me or hear me? Everything looks okay on my end right now? Okay, and let me hear if I can hear this. Okay, I think I'm good. So talking about vision board, okay, I'm wrapping this up anyway. So Canva, okay, good. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Okay, so using Canva to create a vision board, okay, and I'm going to share my screen. So here, right? So there's a feature using Canva. You can easily ask your children, especially for those who are a little bit older, and they are right now. I create my own vision board using Canva. You can easily, you want to have 6-pack, you want to be on Oprah, and you want to be on like, Today Show, whatever, be featured in Forbes, and you can have all of them here, right? So after you create this, you can again share them on different social media channels. And so to me, Canva is such a powerful tool. You can ask your children, like them to design their life, where do they see themselves in 5 years from today, and ask them to design their own life. So I just love this. Okay, let me go back. So create a vision board. Okay, last but not least, the last one I want to share is better. I'm so sorry. Oh. And the last one I want to share is to use social media to document, to create, and to share their learning journey. I created a LinkedIn profile for my son, and actually just recently, he's 8 years old, and he has been using LinkedIn to share his reflection. So what we do is that you don't want to do everything completely online, because when you are practicing cursive writing, when you are practicing handwriting, you are actually activating both atmospheres of your brain, as opposed to only typing. When you are typing, you're only using one side of the brain. So you still want your children to actually practice cursive writing, handwriting, and activate more senses. So what we do is everything happens, on paper first, book reflection, whatever reflection first. And then I will ask him to translate that into the social media space, especially on LinkedIn. Right? So traditionally, learning only happens in the classroom. Learning does not feel like I only learn when I go to a class. I only learn when I go to a university. That is wrong. That was the case many years ago, before social media and technology. Nowadays, in today's information age, you can learn outside the classroom. So you want your children to understand that, and traditional learning happens when you go to a school, but nowadays they can really bring their learning to the public space. And so if they are writing a paper for their teacher, for their literature class, and if I were their mom, I would be publish that blog article on Twitter. And maybe after you publish that as an article, can you actually do a quick recording? So earlier we were talking about, talking to the camera. Digital storytelling is actually a very important skill. Not many people can do what I do. I couldn't do what I do now when I just got started on this journey, really, because I practice a lot. Therefore, I become better. But many of our children, they don't really have a chance to practice this. So traditional school project, can you be really creative and think of additional ways that they can bring their learning to the public space, right? So last week, again, if you missed last week's training, I highly recommend that you check it out. But I don't want to repeat myself too much. Hold on. I have to erase this, or here, maybe you can see. So last week we discussed a Bloom BLOOM taxonomy, which is a really popular learning model. So this model divided learning into two levels: lower cognitive level, which will be very soon, which is already happening, be replaced by AI and technology, and higher cognitive level. And you want your children to be in the higher cognitive level, to be intentionally developing those skills. So the lower cognitive level include, and I'll try to write it down for you. The lowest level is remember, which is why I think the traditional education model is so broken, because our children are only learning how to memorize, how to regurgitate information. That is useless, right? We don't have to ever remember phone numbers anymore. And so the next level, the lowest level is remember, the next level is understand, and then the next level of those three are lower cognitive. But you want to go beyond from memorization to actually the higher cognitive level, which involve you probably can't see this. We should go up, analyze, evaluate, and the highest level of learning is create. Okay, so let me repeat that again. If you want your children to go up to the higher cognitive level, again, I'm referring children, including working professionals, college-age students, high schoolers, middle schoolers, and of course, young children. And you want them to create, okay? So document their journey. And if they can create something, if they can teach you, that means they truly understood this, okay? So my children, after every time when they learn something, I will ask them either create an Adobe Spark page or write a blog article, create an infographic. They are learning more about dinosaur history. So can your children actually create an infographic to show how dinosaurs have become extinct over the last several centuries, right? So learn to create, use social media, bring their learning to the public space. When they share what they have learned, you are inviting a global community to be a part of the conversation, okay? So those are the 5 ways that you can use social media as a career building tool. So to recap, the first one we discussed today, digital networking. Second one, launching a podcast. Third one is collaborative storytelling. Number 4, create a vision board using Canva and to work, discovering who they are. And last is to create, document, and share their learning in the public space. Infographic, creating a movie, making a documentary, and a poster, and all those things. Blog article for sure. Okay. So, and this is this week's training. And next week, and we are. So this is what we are discussing next week. Next Tuesday at the same time, 1 p.m., the biggest challenge facing today's students. Okay, so mark your calendar, join us live. And if you want a copy of the workbook, so make sure you write down workbook. And if you are interested, this is everything I'm sharing with you right now is exactly what I do as a classroom without walls and how I help transform my own students from the inside out with great success. So if you are interested in learning more about my 3 months Life Accelerator program, applying some of the things I shared with you earlier. So please send me a message, send me a DM, and you see my email in the in the LinkedIn post or Facebook post. However you are watching, the cohort starts on September 14th, right after Thursday. Feel helpful, please feel free to share this, and I hope to see you again next Tuesday, same time, 1 p.m. We'll be talking about the biggest challenge facing today's students. So I'm really going to talk about life skill. What are the important life skills that our children need to learn in order to be future ready in life? And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.